Welcome to Wiretapped Truths. My name is Jesse Perez, aka Super Dad. Um, I'm here with
It's
Mr.
on your
Wiretap.
shirt. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I didn't. Oh, nice. Very cool.
Um, I wore this with a boxing event with my son. My son's 17 already. He's like, Dad, take that off. Choke on us.
And you have a responsibility. You're a super dad. You have to wear it.
Exactly. He wanted me to go into Clark Kent mode. Um, we got Mr. Wiretap Truths Leland and our resident comedian Jack Simmons. Today, back to the end. Oh, shout out every episode. I'm sorry. Executive producer Donna Adrian Gibson. Got to do it. Jack, I don't know if you missed the secret I shared. Not a secret, but something we didn't notice. The girl that Poot has called Wallace for Wallace being dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Miss Donna's daughter.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
Oh
So yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
That's fun. I
yeah,
did
yeah.
not know that.
We shot something, Jack, on Saturday. I don't know if you saw it in the group.
Right.
Yeah. Jesse kind of sprung that on us. He was gonna spring it on us when we did our recap on Saturday. But she has shirts with that scene on it. And that's what Jesse was talking about in the group. He
Right.
was talking
Okay.
about the shirt size. Yeah, that's her daughter.
Yeah.
I was curious. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
I did
So
not know that she was in
yeah,
there.
shout out Miss Donna Adrian Gibson always.
Keeping it
Always.
local.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Um. So back to the essence of the show, season 2, episode 5 recap. I remember when I watched this, I texted, I don't know, Leland or both of you guys, but I was like, this episode's a flawless episode.
This is a perfect episode. I'm very excited to talk about it. This is yeah. This is when like everything really starts to come together, in my
Yeah.
opinion, in the season. You get the sense for like, it's a great character episode. So
So start us off with it,
you
Jack.
want me to start us off? All right, yeah, without further ado. The title of this episode is Undertow. Um Season 2, episode 5. They used to make steel down there, didn't by Spiros Vondas. First time Spiros is in the opening quote, whatever you call it, the line scroll. And we start off with Ziggy Sobotka going to fucking talk to Frog, and he's gonna lay down the law because he's pissed off because Frog fucked up. He didn't sell as much heroin as he was supposed to. So, so Ziggy's gonna come down and collect the money. Frog doesn't have enough money, and Ziggy tries to talk all tough to him, and it's hilarious in a very
Yeah,
adorable and kind of pathetic way.
even the slang that Ziggy's trying to use, that's why like Nick is so much better because Nick is just himself. You don't have to be like, you mustn't be playing with my money like that, and
Money
trying
gonna
to
be
like,
right.
yeah, money gonna be right. That's what
And
it
y'all know what too? Just we break down every scene. Obviously,
You
no
best know
one
I ain't.
respects Ziggy.
Yeah.
nobody.
No one respects him.
How do you
And
not feel sorry for Ziggy? That's what I don't
you
understand.
know what, Jack? I know we talked about it. I want to say last season about my. I used to always feel sorry for Ziggy, and then the last time I rewatched it before our podcast, I was like, "Damn, I fucking hate Ziggy." And then last week when we were doing the notes for the episode, I'm like, "Damn, don't nobody respect Ziggy." You like, so I float
I
back and forth,
He's
man. Like,
he's
I
it's
actually
sad,
have.
man. He's like he's a loser. Like, but like, I don't mean that to like put him down because he's a fictional character. But the thing
I
about it
actually,
is like you watch a guy and you're just like, "Ugh," you know.
what's crazy? Me and Leland were talking about like, yeah, they're fictional characters, but it's hard not to feel for them. You
Oh
know
yeah,
what?
no,
What
no,
I think.
yeah,
I think with the wire, not only is the acting so good, you know that they represent real life people. So
they
you
do,
do get
yeah,
emotionally like involved in
you
in
know,
their
it's a
lives.
Ziggy, a Ziggy. I know a
right.
Ziggy. I
We
know
know
somebody like
every
I know somebody
single
like
person in the wire. We know, minus a
Right.
brother Mazone I never came across.
Everybody
or,
knows a guy like Ziggy,
but
and they feel. Yeah, you're right. They don't feel. I said like because I'm like no offense to this character, but
right.
it's what you treat them like they're real people because they're acted and written so well that it's like, yeah, you don't even think of them as fictional characters.
yeah,
And
I
I
you know
I know not to cut you off, Jesse. I know we're planning a top 10 best cold open random episode at some point in time. I love this one. I love this opening scene.
I don't think this one makes.
You
the
know
top.
why? You know why, Jesse? And it might not be a top 10, but you know why I love it so much? This is the first time we see Cheese.
Right. Well, also it's a
Cheese
big
introduction.
cameo. You know what I
I didn't
mean?
know
It's
that.
like when you're watching this for the first time, you don't expect like Method Man to show up like this. You
Right.
know, so it's like, and you know, every great show has cameos by various celebrities or whatever, and this is the one where like, oh shit, Method Man's in the show, and he
Right.
comes in the best possible way.
With some force. He
Yeah.
come in with some smoke. Like,
It's yeah. It's funny though watching Ziggy try to act tough and being like, "You best know I ain't playing, motherfucker." You know, and it's just like, dude, come on, man. It's not. And you know, Frogs is like, whatever, I don't care.
He said, "You think I'm some fucking punk?" And then
Right.
he proceeds.
He's like, "Yes, I do."
to get punked. And you
Actually,
know,
that's exactly what I think.
Another note I took too. Whatever corner that Frog was on, that bitch is moving because he had Ziggy's money, the short money, and he had the profit money. Like, you know, so the corner, the spot
So
is hot.
they're on the white side of Baltimore, right? I think according right, and it's a big Polish neighborhood, I guess. But so, well, to run into Cheese, they have to be on the east side.
Yeah, but they didn't run into Cheese.
Presumably.
Cheese followed them there. You know, Cheese was
or if he fronted. And that's another question. I
still think it's east side though, because the Greeks know Prop Joe. They don't.
Yeah, you're probably right.
They don't do business with Barksdales.
How does this work? So, did Cheese front Ziggy the package? I guess. Like, why does Cheese even know Ziggy? Like, what?
I think Ziggy's like. Oh, so go ahead, Jesse.
I think that's right. I think Cheese fronted Ziggy the package, and Ziggy gave it to Frog to move.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Everyone's like a middleman, essentially. You know. Yeah, Ziggy gets it from Cheese. I just like it is funny to think about the fact that those two people know each other. Like, how was that? How is that how are they introduced to one another?
Come on, Cheese, Ziggy, where y'all meet at? Where y'all cross paths at?
That's
Who
true.
also is like kind of crazy.
That would have been nice to get that little introduction.
A scene of them just meeting each other, you know. Maybe they go back. Maybe they were friends back in the day, you know, and they had a falling out, and Ziggy wants to work in the docks. And
I think Cheese just saw an opportunity for somebody he could shake down for money if he doesn't.
And that's another thing too. Getting shaken down in broad day, that's wild.
Right. Nobody's around to. Nobody does anything. That's
I like that Ziggy tried to laugh along. Ziggy tried to laugh along. He's like, brother, he reminded me of the scene from White Man Can't Jump. You too stupid to know we're laughing at you.
she said, man, what the fuck you laughing at? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, with the jacket and the price. He's like, you never catch me wearing this, you know. Yeah, it is kind of crazy that it happens just like everyone's watching this guy getting beaten. Nobody does anything,
you know,
which is very kind of parallels later on with the guy that gets beat up by like Poot, the people that work for Poot and Bodie, and just like nobody does anything. That's a frequent thing that happens throughout this show, and I think is like speaks to the broader themes of why the city can't function. Is like when you just have this violence like this, and it shows like the ineffectiveness of the police, or the fact that their main job is to protect and serve people, but rarely throughout the show do you ever see them actually doing that. In fact, the times that you actually do need them to come in and help people out, like Ziggy or like Bubbles later on when he has that guy that continually robs him, they're nowhere to be found, or they just don't give a shit. And so it's kind of just shows like, you know, they're pretty much useless when it comes to actually like stopping crime like this, you know. I mean, they don't care here because it's again, Ziggy's a drug dealer, so he can't go to the police and be like, "Hey, these guys robbed me. They fucking, you know." They're like, "Well, you were selling drugs." But yeah, this is the first time we see Cheese, and the way he just holds Ziggy up to his chest, you know, it's like a real fucking, and he tries to back up, and I like how they filmed it too with the camera inside the car, so you just get it from his perspective of like forwards, backwards, and then you just see them from like the perspective of inside from the windshield, and you just hear them out. So like really cool camera work, you know. And then yeah, he steals the jacket. They steal the jacket from him, throw him on the windshield, and just fucking drive off, and nobody does the thing,
Yep.
and then he just curses out Frog. He's like, "Fuck you!" And Frog just doesn't care. He just has that dumb look on his face. And that's the way that this episode started.
And you know what, too, Jack? Just another note I took from that beginning, just trying to break down like what Ziggy said. Okay, how much money that he said that Frog gave him? He said, what he said, $290. I think he said this. I think he said this ain't but $290 here or something like that.
Mhm.
So if it was only $290, and Frog was supposed to give him $500, so Cheese is gonna kill him over what's the number? It's not $1,000. It's $3,200 or 30.
Mhm.
What did he tell Nikki? I owe $3,600 by Friday, or what was the number that he gave him? I can't remember. It's later in the episode, but like I say all that to say his life ain't worth more than $3,600. Like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, if you don't come up with
$5,200 is the final number.
5,200. Yeah. Okay.
Because they doubled the price, but they doubled the price of the Camaro was worth like 26, and they doubled the and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, they don't give a shit. They'll kill people over nothing. They're Cheese a bad person. I mean, he's not. He is a funny character throughout the show. There are moments when he's like,
he ain't no plot though.
But he's and his death scene is probably in the top 5 favorite death scenes
for fans. Oh yeah, for fans, that's definitely one of them. Like, oh, good, and glad it was Slim Charles. Like, kind of thing. Like, Slim Charles, he's a fan favorite. People love Slim Charles.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He was always solid. So, and Jesse, you don't think of when we do this top 10 episode, for sure you don't think that one is one of them? The top 10 opens?
I don't think so. I mean, I like the argument for it, but I got a funny story about Ziggy not being respected though. So I'm in contact with Double G Teddy, who played Double G, and he wants to come on, and he's looking forward to it. And we set up the day and time, and he goes, any other questions? And I said, why didn't you respect Ziggy? And he said, ha. The way he wrote "ha," I almost felt like I was talking. All like his other paragraphs were like so nice, and like it was like, "Oh man, it's so cool that you guys are doing this." And then he hits me with the Double G ha. Like, that guy's not respected. Like,
damn, Ziggy.
Poor Ziggy.
Damn, Jack, man. God damn it, Ziggy. Shit.
I say, damn, Jack. What?
Because you like, damn, don't you feel sorry for Ziggy?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Poor
I'm
Ziggy.
leaning towards what you're saying, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just thought that was a funny reaction. Ha.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
But also, it's we talked about this before, how like Method Man, Steve Earle, and like there was quite a few castings of Fredro Starr. There's quite a few castings of musicians and people who are just generally not actors, like the Jeffrey Pratt Gordon, right? Like they're very creative in their casting of getting people who you wouldn't necessarily think of to play these roles, and they just fucking knock it out of the park.
This man's a phenomenal actor.
We saw
he is. You really he understood the role like immediately.
Seeing him in The Wire and then seeing him in Power as a lawyer, like he's got some acting range.
He's got some range.
Yeah, he's got some acting range.
I think he got, to be fair, I think he got better though. I would love to have met the man on the show. I think he's one of the weaker actors of the.
You think he's hamming it up?
Well, of The Wire?
Not hamming it up. I could see a little more of the acting in him.
Well, you got to think too, bro. This is kind of, I've always wanted to have this discussion with people. Like, when people be like, okay, this person is a bad actor. Always like, and
I don't think he was that. I don't think.
Right? No, I get it. I'm just saying, like, when you say he could be stronger or stronger actor, but it's like, well, he's playing a drug dealer, so it's kind of like, how much
Cheese is
more
written. He's written to be this larger
as an actor, I guess. Like, that's what I be thinking in shows like this. People be like, acting is bad, but it's like, he's playing a murdering drug dealer. He was convincing to me as a murdering drug dealer. Like, that's kind of, I don't know. I know
think
that
his
there's
character
bad.
was
I've
written
seen
to be.
bad acting.
We could get into a little bit of a discussion. I mean, JD Williams, who played Bodie, told stories with a facial reaction.
For sure.
Like
For sure.
with a look.
For sure.
I felt
timing was perfect. Like, yeah.
when
No, I hear
Cuddy
you.
said, "I used to spar with your older brother James," and he lights up for a quick second. Like I'm like, that's acting. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
No,
but
I-
it's a different type of acting. Like there's acting is all about choices, right? That's what every actor will tell you, and it's a different type of acting because it's a differently written character. D'Angelo is a character with a lot of layers and a lot of nuance. He's like one of the main characters that you follow throughout the show. So his character requires more subtlety and more of like uh more insularity, like where you feel more of like the facial acting more subtle and grounded, whereas Cheese is written to be like this over the top villainous thug drug dealer.
that's fair.
So he wasn't written to be like having like a subtlety to him. He was written to be like this fucking bad motherfucker who is, and I think he played him well, like to that, almost like this larger than life portrayal. I think it kind of like called for that for his character.
That's fair.
If that makes sense. But anyway, let's get past the opening scene because we're still on that. So this starts
Our
off
longest
where
cold open.
yeah, really, we're 15 minutes in. We've only got through the first scene. So okay, where this second scene is Carver.
Wait, what's a quote? Oh, did you do it
Said
already?
it. I said
Oh,
it. They
I'm
make
sorry.
you to make speed.
I'm sorry. I got
Fucking
kicked off.
keep up, Jesse. No, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. You said Spiros. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just fucking with you. The first scene after the cold open, directed by Steve Schill, is Carver in Daniel's office. Daniels is now running the special detail. He's trying to get the whole gang back together, and he offers Carver a spot. And Carver's confused because, as we remember from at the end of season 1, we find out Carver was essentially the mole that was for Burrell, that was that did Daniels kind of dirty. So he's inquiring, he's like, why would you pick me, out of everyone here? And he's thinking like, well, he gives the reason of like, well, if I wouldn't if you fucked me once, like, shame on you, but like I figured you're not dumb enough to try to do the same thing again.
Yep.
And he accepts Carver. Now, I think personally, and I know that like you guys have talked about things where you don't know if it's entirely believable. I think in reality, like Daniels wouldn't have taken Carver back.
Well, no.
I think in reality he would have been like, no, fuck this guy. He tried to screw me.
Man,
once.
hell no.
Especially Daniel's kind of attitude throughout the whole series. He seems like a one and done kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He told McNulty, like, when McNulty fucked him.
I wouldn't have. Right, I wouldn't have
coming
taken Carver back personally if I was Daniels. I would
Hell
have
no.
been fuck you.
That might be a little storyline convenient, but at least they addressed it though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. And look, I know that's like a nitpicky thing. Like, I'm not trying to be like the cinema sins guys, whatever. I'm just saying that's the one thing, because I
He wouldn't
fucking
have taken
hate,
him back.
I
But
hate
also,
those guys.
too,
But like,
just to continue with the story, he does say your stripes aren't earned. So, like, you snitched to get your stripes, and Keeman's gonna run this detail, even though you're a sergeant. You're not gonna be in charge just because you're a sergeant, because you snitched to get your position,
right.
And you did me dirty last time. So, like, you're gonna be under Keema, and then Carver's like, same as it ever was.
Yeah, it's written as for a way to get the whole band back together. So it's like you just accept it. Like, I could look past, it's the suspension of disbelief. I'm like, whatever, I'll accept it. If it's a reunion of the whole gang,
the band, like I like.
You know what I mean?
Like
so you
those
just kind of
movies
like,
where the
right.
rock and roll group goes to like
the
bar to find the drugged out drummer. Like,
right,
getting the band together again.
It really is like that moment of like, yeah, because they even come out and like Carver says like, I'm in,
Yeah, and they have such a bromance moment. Like, he slams him like, don't be grabbing my stick. You know, we can't say the F word on here. You know, like,
Yeah.
but you know, he's but yeah.
No, it's cute, you know. And it's like, and you like it too as the audience member because you want to see them all, you know, get back together, which happens with Lester Freeman later on in the episode too. Um, we also see Bubbles and McNulty in the next scene. Bubbles is just looking suspicious as ever, noticing, you
Bubbles.
know, he's such an odd guy. Like, even besides the fact that he's like, you know, a drug addict and everything, he has all these issues. Just his personality, he's just like a bizarre person. Like, he's just so
Bubbles.
fixated on this grill.
You're about to steal this grill? Come on,
Yeah.
my boy. You are not about to steal this grill from this police section. Like,
I like
okay.
the way that McNulty's partner on the boat just looks at him. He's like, "What are you doing?" What's
His
going on?"
mind is working. Bubbles' mind is working.
Yeah, he's scheming. He's always plotting on how to steal shit, and you
How
know.
the fuck are you gonna take that grill off of that police area, bro? Where are you?
Yeah.
Bubbles, you don't have no fucking car. Where are you gonna take this grill that you unhook and roll up? Like, where you think you going with it?
It reminds me of like the previous episode when you see him and Johnny like putting stuff in their shirts. Is this, you know?
Right.
And maybe it's like kids sneaking candy into a movie theater. It's just like, what are you doing? Why are you trying this? But essentially he got Omar, and he's realizing, he's like, hey, I need money for everything, and he'll tell you where to. Omar Bubbles tells McNulty where to meet up, and no, sorry, but
Bubbles tells McNulty.
yeah, he tells him like where to meet up with Omar, but he's also saying like, I need money for everything that I'm doing. Like, it's
You had me
not.
chase down somebody legendary, okay?
Yeah.
And he put that motherfucking shotgun to my face, okay? I need a little bit more than this little bit of money you giving me. I got a question though. Bubble says you can reach him here. Omar lives in vacants, so is this a cell phone? Is this a house phone number? What is the
Probably
phone number that he gave me? Okay,
it's one of those phone booths, you know,
maybe, yeah,
from
maybe.
back in the day. I like they make the Baltimore not again here too, where they just even
Yeah.
Bubbles like, what the hell is the
Yep, I
Baltimore
took that
not?
down
Yeah,
too.
Bubbles knows more about sailing than McNulty does.
Right, yeah.
And
Not
also
the same
too,
way twice.
Omar, it just goes to show you how legendary he was in the show. You know, even everybody in the show acknowledged it. You know, he said, "You ain't having me chase down some no name person." You know,
Yeah.
you got me asking about
Yeah,
Omar.
the story of Omar is not just by what we see. It's I think I said this in season 1. It's like the characters' reactions to him.
For
We
sure.
know Omar, even from Brandon saying, "You're him, right? You're danger." Like, we
For
already
sure.
know Omar's badass. Like, yo, that's like Omar. Oh, Bird used to jail with him down in the cut. Like, Omar's like this no fear psychopath.
Everybody knows, bro. The scene in season 4 when he's in pajamas, he don't have no gun or nothing on him, and they just see this man in his pajamas and they drop the package out. Bro, he's a legend. He's the most legendary character in the show, bro.
His reputation precedes him.
For sure, bro. It ain't close.
Sometimes your name's enough, right?
Man.
That's right.
But I like the way that McNulty is like, he respects Bubbles, you know, and he appreciates them, so he gives him like more money as a result.
Nothing never judges nobody.
Yeah,
Nope.
that's one thing that's great about it. He actually like, and I talked about this before, how he doesn't view himself as superior to other people, which makes him, I think, such a good cop, because he's able to empathize with others, which is like a rare quality. And
y'all know what, too, as we talk about character analysis, I know we floated the idea of doing maybe a character analysis episode, but just talking about McNulty, y'all are right. He doesn't judge anybody or look down on anybody, but the moment that political lady looks down on him, he can't even function right. Like, he can't even, he is pissed. He's pissed for days after that encounter with her. Like, so it's so interesting. Like, that's a good little character analysis little moment for McNulty. He don't look down on nobody. Like, the moment if somebody calls him stupid or less intelligent, or he definitely takes that shit to heart.
Also, she represents everything like he despises too.
For sure.
That like bureaucracy and everything. So we return back to Major Rawls' office, where he's inquiring about the and homicide unit, where he's inquiring where they are with the 13 dead girls. They tell him essentially like this Bunk is saying that BD Russell really isn't much of a cop. She doesn't know what she's doing. They know the docs, but they don't really have much going on. Um, so they're kind of hitting a wall with this case. And then Rawls informs Freeman that he's been he's been detailed over to the Frank Sobotka detail with Daniels.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And
he
now,
don't know that it's Frank Sobotka yet, but
right, yeah.
yeah. I see what you're saying.
He's been assigned there. And
Unless he said, "Did you just fuck me?"
yeah. And Rawls is like, he doesn't even care too. He's just
Love
like,
it.
haha, now you have like 14 Jane Does that he gives them all to Bunk to solve by
Yep.
himself.
Bunk has the worst cases every fucking
Yeah.
season.
He's always
Every
getting like
season, he is getting the short end of the stick. It don't.
Right.
Season 1, I'm trying to think. Maybe because he was a witness. Maybe that's why that was a bad case. But season 2, he's getting the bodies. Season 3, he's got to find the gun in Baltimore. That's not even believable. And then season 4, he's looking for Lester. You know, so
yeah. No, it's true. Bunk has like the worst luck. He's constantly getting screwed over. He's very relatable too. He just the way he carries himself as a character too, because he's always just like, God damn it. One of his quotes where they later on they get the text messages and it's all in Greek and he just says like nothing's ever easy. It's just like you've been feeling that this entire show, this entire season with him. So this part where the Nikki and his wife are looking for houses is interesting because first off, Nikki Sobotka is being an incredibly rude asshole to Elena. Little cross scene, we see Elena McNulty or whatever her maiden name is, in in her line of work, and they cross paths. I like how it does that sometimes. See a little cross paths. And they're looking at the house with another couple, and it's interesting the contrast between this because this other couple is dressed much nicer.
Yep,
They're clearly happier about their situation. They have more of like a friendly energy and demeanor to them. They know what they're doing. Whereas like um, Nikki and his wife, whose name is Amy, is they look clearly stressed out. Nick is being just like an incredibly rude asshole for no reason. He's just like constantly like ignoring everything she's saying and then making like kind of snarky condescending remarks at every turn. How this used to be like his uncle's house,
Aunt Treasy, I think.
his Aunt Treasy, and now it's not, and she's like angry about it as if Elena had anything to do with his aunt's situation. And she says the listing, and it's obviously way too much because it's a pretty nice looking place from the outside. So a guy that works the ports who's married to a hairdresser isn't able to cut it.
No.
And then when they go outside, she's saying like maybe they should continue to rent.
Yep. And right there, Jack, hold that thought. The couple that's walking in with when he says that exact line, he's got a Beamer, he got a nice car, they're older, he got a nice, I don't think it was a peacoat, but it was like a suit blazer jacket, and it's a humbling experience for Nick. Because you see a car, you see this, he look at the car when Buddy turns the alarm on, he's looking like, damn, I ain't ready for this.
Well, that's like it's all about like what they want in life, and that's kind of what's like the Sobotkas represent like that pursuit of the American dream, and you constantly see that like they have a lot of ambition and they want a better life for their family, and it's like the broken economy is just like constantly destroying that dream, and it's because of all these like outer mechanisms, like with the ports, they're not able to achieve that, And that's kind of like brings you back to the opening quote where it's like they used to make steel here, and it's like they constantly want to go back to a time when they had like a thriving industry where a guy who worked at the ports who is married to a hairdresser could be able to afford a place like that. But it's not that world anymore, and it certainly wouldn't be that way today. Like, not only would somebody that has that job today be able to afford that place, but they would barely be able to afford to rent.
No, I don't know. The port workers, the union workers, they make good money, man. Those like.
Yeah, I mean they do okay, but the ports are like
I don't know if they
struggling.
made
Okay.
$340,000 worth of and that's not what you got to
Yeah, yeah.
make.
I mean,
But you
I
got to
don't
make a
really,
portion
to
of
be
that.
honest, I'm kind of talking
I
out
mean,
my
I don't
ass
know what
halfway
I don't
'cause
know what unions, but I know my
Yeah.
brother-in-law was like a
Okay.
glass maker or like
Mhm.
in the union. They bought a house in Lindenhurst, Long Island.
Okay.
So,
So I mean, no, they can
Yeah,
work well. It's just the ports
different unions
specifically.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, different unions. Just
yeah.
just because you're in a union, it could be like your boy. He could
No,
be
I
making
understand.
40, 50 an hour with a trade, but from the ships, it might not be as much as like a glass craftsman. You know what I'm saying?
But isn't okay? You're right. But isn't the ship like a
You see what I'm
trade?
saying?
Yeah, no, you're right. But isn't the ship?
I mean, but kind of in a I don't know, like for like glass cutting or glass carving, you might
you're
have to. You know what I'm
You-
saying?
you're
It's like a different.
you're probably more knowledgeable
It's a
on that
different
than I
level.
am. Because you're right.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. Yeah, go ahead.
That would be like what do you call it when you have to not mining, welding, like that
Yeah,
kind of.
No, you're right.
It's up in that alley.
Well,
Yeah,
true, because everybody,
Go ahead. What you
he's
want to say,
not a
Jack?
laborer.
well,
The dock workers
you
are not
always
a
need a
laborer.
welder.
Got you.
Welding
Yep.
is a thing of like it's a static industry, but like the ports, it's like the amount of imports and exports that the United States does. A lot of it depends on the macro economy. So it's like if there's a shitty economy, they're not bringing a lot of imports. They don't have a lot of days on the docks. So it's like at this time they're just like really struggling, because this is also like 2003. So it's like this is that's when the season 2 came out. So
Yep.
this is right when the start of the Iraq war, when everything's starting to go to shit. And we'll talk about that later on because I think you guys probably noticed the same thing, seeing when they talk about the Department of Homeland Security, but we'll get to that later on. Back to the Sobotka detail, where like the entire cast is now rejoined by Lester Freeman,
Yep.
and it's like I like how he says like, "Who's this? Oh, Frank Sobotka," and like Pres Belushi's like, "How fucking good is he?"
Yep.
He automatically knows, and they're strategizing as to what they're gonna do.
They send it hurt.
Right.
He said, "I'm gonna show you how it's done, Holmes."
Yeah, it's a lot of like white drug dealers. So it's now Herc's time to play in undercover, and
He hyped too. He's glad to do it. He's hyped with the shit.
He's like, let me show you homies how it's done. They're very funny throughout this whole season, Herc and Carver, and especially later on, you see Herc in his outfit, and
I
he's
like
looking
season 2 Herc.
Yeah, season 2.
Yeah, no, this the best. This the best version of Herc for sure.
Mhm.
It's the season 2 version of Herc. Yeah, for sure. And they also say, in this fucking town, what other crime is there with
Right.
drugs? You think it's drugs? Like what other crime could there be? Shit.
Notice when Herc says like, let me show you how it's done, Holmes. He kind of grabs Carver's badge a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the acting is so like expressive throughout there, and so now they kind of are combining these two cases, which they would inevitably combine anyway. It's both have to do at the ports. We also see Dawnette and her son going over to D'Angelo, and
Finally, shit.
she's talking to D'Angelo. But yeah, finally, D'Angelo wearing like really expensive clothing and everything. D'Angelo's not listening to her at all. She's just like blah, 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 blah. He's paying attention to his kid.
Yep.
And
you know what, too, Jack? The way that she was talking,
it
was like every other word was about Stringer. It's almost like, are you trying to make it obvious that you're sleeping with him? Like it was like everything Stringer said, Stringer this, Stringer that, Stringer this. I'm like, God damn.
Well, it's also it's like horrible the way she's like gaslighting him into making it trying to make him feel guilty, right? She's trying to make him feel bad for being distant from Avon and D'Angelo by saying like about what all the nice things they're doing. She's saying like, oh, they're gonna open up a club for you to run something on the outside, which shows that they don't really view D'Angelo as like the future of this organization, even though he was the one who kind of took the bullet for all of them.
I do think Avon's intentions are, even though like he didn't mind D'Angelo doing some years, I do think Avon wanted to set up his nephew okay when he came.
Yeah,
out.
no, he did. I'm just saying
Sure.
he didn't view him as like when he viewed it as like when he gets out of here, like he's just gonna run the club. Like they don't, you know, he
he's not
doesn't
gonna be back involved into this. And that was honestly
not like the kingpin. Yeah,
that was Stringer's idea to keep D'Angelo silent, was to put the stuff in his name, you know, to kind of make it kind of ease the pressure off of him. But at the same time, too, for D'Angelo, as we know, for the fans that have seen season 1, his sole, like, I don't want to call it shining moment, but I guess you could call it that shining moment, was Wallace. He's never gonna forget they killed Wallace.
Do you guys think D'Angelo even done that though? Like, I think
even what done that?
Does he even
like her? Like her?
Not really.
I think she's just a pretty girl that he got pregnant.
Yeah, you know,
like,
now he has to make them most of it.
Like, you know, his real love was Charlene.
For sure. I told you that scene where you know, where she's talking to him and she's like, we need this, we need
Chardine,
that.
Right?
Donette.
And no, but Jack said Chardine. I'm saying, isn't that her name, Chardine?
Yeah.
He don't even kiss his kid. You know, he not listening to nothing Donette is saying. He told Chardine, yeah, she around, you know, I guess, you know.
It was someone he knocked up early on, and now they're trying to make the best of it. It's the relationship is not like intimate. It's purely like, oh, we have a kid, so we have certain responsibilities.
She don't like him either, y'all.
Yeah, it's purely the sense of, oh, we have responsibilities for the kid, but there's nothing real like relationship wise between them.
Well, that dinner scene, you could see that they're talking about different things.
Right.
And I didn't even like, honestly, I ain't like what she said about, oh, you should have pushed them to get the reserve table. How the fuck?
I don't like Donette that much. Do you guys?
She's always complaining. She's always like almost every scene she's with D'Angelo, she's always complaining about things that he should have done, that she deserves better. She doesn't like do anything, but she's always like, oh, we deserve better than what I have, you know. And she views D'Angelo as a source of money and nothing else.
I don't really feel for Donette ever throughout the show until Stringer is dead, and it's the end of season 3. Yeah, and you see, you see the picture of him, you see D'Angelo, and you see the baby. He playing on the floor, and she's stuck. You know, she can't even. So that's the only time I feel for her. But like any other scene, you're right. She's just kind of nagging her significant other, whether it's D'Angelo or Stringer.
Yeah, she doesn't have any real like loyalty to him, and you know, it could be a thing of like, look, she doesn't have to be loyal to the guy, because it is a thing of like, they don't, like Jesse said, they don't really love each other. It's mainly just for the child, you know.
But of all the people you could sleep with, why would you sleep with my boss?
Yeah, because
like this.
Idris Elba.
He's one of the sexiest
yeah, you know, I mean,
maybe if it was Prop Joe, she wouldn't have slept with him. You know, maybe I think it helped that it was Stringer Bell that. But yeah, so D'Angelo is also, you get the sense he's just really out of it. He doesn't want anything to do with these people. He just wants to be left alone to figure things out, because he's still essentially just a young kid who's trying to find his way, and he found his way into 20 years in prison. So now it's just like he's trying to just distance himself and make something of his life, whatever that is. You know?
He said, "Give me the sentence, man. Y'all can have everything with the drug game. You know, I'm mad y'all killed my boy Wallace. I'm mad that my uncle killed 5 people here in the prison like it was nothing. You know, all y'all do is kill people. Like, it's kind of like, I'm off of that. You know?
He just wants some peace.
That was some slick narrating, Jack. I caught that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, which is why the library job is good for him. It's something quiet that he can just do and not be bothered by anyone. That's kind of what he wants at this point.
Yeah.
We talk. I love this next scene too, where he gets that guy gets beaten. I love the camera work because you could tell they filmed on like a dolly, and it's constantly going backwards as he's walking towards it. And so you see these guys running off to him like trying to sell their shit, and he's like, nah, nah.
Please buy this bullshit ass package
Right.
that we got. And 40 minutes in, we want to say please like, share, subscribe, comment, Wiretapped Truths. We appreciate all the love, all the support, all the fans, all the new fans. Thank you so much. Yeah, but no, they beat the shit out of him, bro.
They beat the shit because he doesn't like the stuff they have, and then they get so offended when he doesn't want to buy it, And
it was crazy. He didn't even badmouth it. He just said, "I ain't got no money."
Right.
He said, "I ain't got no ends right now, man."
He smashed a bottle over his head.
Beat the shit out of him. They beat him from the pit to the tower. He ringed out to Bodie. They were like, hey B, the shit jumping off, man. We need you, kind of thing.
Second character to get beaten up this episode.
Yeah.
Or not even halfway through the episode. It's fucking people, but also it's just like, the way when he walks out too, it's just like with Ziggy, it's like nobody offers any help or anything. They're just like, all right,
it is what it is. And also the one that said AOB shit jumping off in the picture in the opening to season 3 when Poop and Bodie are walking and they're about to burn down the towers. That's who that is. That's the same person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all remember that.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah. He didn't have a lot of scenes, but he's in season 3 as the opener with Bodie and Poop when they burn down the tower, when they tear down the towers.
Bodie is like taking a leadership role here, and similar to what D'Angelo was saying, he's annoyed with the violence. He makes a point of like, so he's like, so we're beating people for telling the truth, because that's what Poot says. He's like, well, he was bad mouthing the product, and Poot like says to stop beating them, but he doesn't really try at it. Poot never really like puts that much effort into anything he does. He's kind of like a slacker. He doesn't really give a shit,
I'm here to get some money and I'm here to sleep with women that look like Amy Winehouse.
Bodie's the more like ambitious of the two, which is why he was kind of made to be the leader, essentially like D'Angelo's role in season.
And mind you, y'all, Bodie is only 17.
Yeah, it's true.
In the show.
Yeah, he was 16 in season 1, so yeah, 17 years old.
17, like.
Yeah. I mean, D'Angelo's 22 and everything, but yeah, he's very young, and he realizes here that like they're struggling because the shit that they have is very weak and nobody's gonna want it. They're running into a dilemma.
The pit is dry, look like tumbleweeds.
Speaking of people struggling, though, we also have Ziggy Sobotka struggling because he knows
he looks so rough.
Yeah, he got beat up, and now they're saying they're going to kill him by Saturday if he doesn't get them their money back, which is what he tells his cousin, and he not so subtly asks him for financial help, but
Zig depends on Nick, right?
Nikki,
like
yes.
he thinks Nikki's almost fucking around with him. Like he's like, they're gonna kill me, and Nick is like, I don't have it, Zig.
I ain't got it, bro.
I don't got it. Like he's like,
we're trying to get an apartment, bro. We're trying to get some furniture.
He's like, I can't save you this time. I don't got it.
Well, their relationship is like, Ziggy very much depends on Nick to bail him out through, and you get the sense that was them like their whole life, Yep. Ziggy's a fuck up, and Nicky's more of a straight shooter, and he's kind of like has that like big brother relationship where.
And he also has
a soft
side for Ziggy. Ziggy could always make him laugh, fuck up and stuff like that.
Well, they're like best friends, they're cousins, but they're cousins, but they're more like brothers.
They're cousin brothers. I've had that growing up. Yeah,
for sure. And y'all know what too? Just alluding to that, Frank even asked him, well, when Ziggy catches the murder, he's like, where the fuck were you? You're his fucking cousin. You're his father.
Yeah. Right.
Kind of thing. They've always been linked up together, man. That was I hate it when, and I honestly, that's what made me like I don't want to call it a hate, but not start to feel sorry for Ziggy was when he did the shit with Nick. When Nick was trying to give him the money, he threw the shit out the window. You know, like, bro, what are you on, bro? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Nick is out here taking care of the shit for y'all. He went and got your car back. He went and got your money, squared your debt away. Like, why are you disrespecting Nick? Like, that was my issue with Ziggy. It was that scene right there with the money, throwing the money out the window and being like, man, fuck you. You know, like,
yeah.
like, damn, what?
Yeah, he's very impulsive and very emotional throughout the show. He never thinks rationally, which is why he gets into so many issues.
And he says, if I had a gun, that's definitely obviously a foreshadowing moment, you know, kind of, you know, like, you wouldn't think that as the audience, you know, you just think it's a line, but if you know the show, it's like, oh shit, okay, that's definitely a foreshadowing moment to crash out, like,
yeah. And we talk about the acting a lot. James Ransone's acting here, where he's like drinking the beer and like nervously smoking a cigarette. His hands are trembling. You could see that far off look in his eyes. He's worried, you know.
He is, and I mean, this is something too where The Wire, I think this season, I think it's the only season where, you know, they say the N-word by anybody else is not black, but it's got to be I don't want to call it touching, but it's got to be like a bold thing to put that into the show kind of thing, you know. But it just shows the realism of this show, you know, to Ziggy, you know. He wasn't being racist or nothing. He was just like, man, this who fucking got me, you know, like shit.
How people talk. I mean, I'm not, you know, just it's reality.
Yeah, you know, it's real,
and I like it's a good point. That's a great point, because I think if it was written today, I think like the producers would have been like, oh, I don't think this. They don't want to like include, they would have been worried about a backlash and blah blah blah. They're like, fuck it, let's just put it in. This is what people, surprise, people like white working class people use the N-word. Like,
right. You know, that's why it's so I love it. A lot of people, completely unrelated, y'all. A lot of people said that The Office could not air in today's time. Do y'all think that? Have y'all seen The Office before? Like,
well, the opening when he does the Chris Rock scene, he's the black people in that, where he's like, what's the difference? Steve Carell's doing that, and Steve Carell does the routine. I mean, he doesn't say it, but you know what he's saying.
Right. It was The Office that out of pocket where it could air today? Like,
I think it could. I
think so too. I don't think that. I don't think it was.
I don't think people are as sensitive or whatever. I think people don't like it when things are too sanitized and everything, because it creates boring. It's boring, you know. I like movies and TV shows that feel more like daring a lot of the times, that don't try to wrap everything in plastic wrap, you know. But yeah. So anyway, we're gonna talk about Valchek real quick, because he is constantly getting fucked with. He's constantly getting these Polaroid photos of the van in different cities. This one time it's from San Diego, and shows a good detective work though, because he uses the fingerprint catcher to find the smudges of the Polaroid. He's so focused on the van, and as he's talking about that, Kima Greggs comes in there and asks about to use it, and he's like, "Oh, it's on loan." Like, it's just
lying like fuck.
He's just kind of cover his ass here, but he's pissed off, and they say don't poke the bear, which is exactly what the port people are doing, essentially.
And also too, Nick said he put the money down for an apartment. What happened to the apartment in the show? Or did they never get it?
I think they just don't get it because of all
he said he put down the money for the furniture for an apartment. Right. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't have anything lined up. They're still looking at places.
Okay.
We also meet when Stringer gets advice from his professor on. It's very. I was thinking about this. It kind of parallels when what's her face, Snoop. Talks to the Home Depot employee in season 4.
Yeah, it does have some similarity to that.
It's just like nice, innocent people inadvertently giving criminals and murderers
masterminds advice.
I don't know why. I always thought the professor knew.
Oh well, yeah, I could see because it's like, what are you talking about, right? Yeah,
But at the same time, how would he know though? He's just a
Stringer.
student. He's just a
Why is he
student.
so curious about stepping on another I mean, changing up a product's name? Like,
Well, I
what
mean,
does he think? What
because
does
that could be what he's alluding to. It's generalized. That could be anything. It don't have to be drugs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it don't
well?
have to be that.
But what else?
No,
What else is Stringer doing? What else is Stringer Bell doing? That what has he made in the market that he has to change the name?
houses, right? He's a real
Yeah, I
estate.
mean, he's a developer. He's a real estate developer. He has some businesses. He's talking about what did he say? When you have an inferior product in an aggressive marketplace, that
Mm.
could be.
How does that? How
I
is
get
that?
what you're saying, though, Jesse.
How would that relate to the real estate world?
Right. No,
You tell me.
I
You're a
get
real estate.
exactly what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But from the professor's standpoint, you might not think automatically like, why would my economics student be asking me about his drug trade? I wouldn't think that as a professor. I'd just be answering the question as a professor. You know, I wouldn't even be thinking like, yeah, what is he into? Is he asking about drugs? You know, I wouldn't even, my job is not, I'm not a cop. My job is to be a professor. I wouldn't even be thinking like, well, what is he going to use? How is he going to use this information I'm giving him? I wouldn't even be thinking that. Like, you know, it wouldn't even cross my mind if I was his professor. Like, so maybe not. You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
But it does kind of feel like he's like kind of like
whenever
I know what you're asking me. You know,
whenever I watched it, I always read it as the professor knew.
He's excited to be part of this world for a little bit.
Not excited, but I think not really caring. Like he gave an answer. Like
I think there might be a thing of like he knows and he's like a little bit like, oh, this is kind of interesting. I get to be like the guy that, helps out. But it is I like to think of it as he didn't know, and it's just like it's just the idea of like
how would he? He wouldn't know.
But
He wouldn't know.
it's just like imagine being a professor and you just happen to like see one day that like this guy was killed and you're like, wait a second, he was my student and I was giving him advice after class one day about like, oh shit, that was about drugs. I didn't realize,
One of us has to start making notes on the stuff we're going to ask David Simon. If
because I just think about it like, how would he know? Stringer is on paper a legitimate businessman and a real estate developer on paper, like, so how would the professor not on the corner? He wouldn't know,
you're right.
like,
And he does, you know what? He doesn't own a paper company. Printing.
Right.
So what if another company's printing better copies?
Right.
Yeah. That's true.
Know.
You're right.
Yeah. And I like the professor in the scene because he's the way he talks to him. He's not condescending. Some professors are fucking dicks, and he's very much just like the way he talks to him is he gives honest reflection. He invokes another case where these people realize they had a shitty product. So what do they have to do? They can't buy up the market share. They don't have enough money to do that. Yeah. And so he essentially says like you have to pretend like it's a completely different product.
Yep. Or you assume what he say, or you operate at a loss.
Yeah, and he can't do that at the moment. They can barely handle what they have. So he says, change the name. Yeah. And Stringer Bell also himself is what his lack of ego is what makes him so effective too, because he genuinely looks for this guy's advice and treats him as a source of wisdom. This professor, not he doesn't view himself as like, oh, I'm the fucking man, nobody tells you what to know. He's genuinely like, all right, well, what should I do? Maybe this guy has an idea. Yep. And he listens to people and takes notes of what they say, and that's one of the reasons he's the boss. The next scene is detectives Bunk, Moreland, and Russell, as well as Cole, coming down. Cole gives Thomas Pacusa a grand summons, right?
I love the whistling too when they pull up. I love that.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, Cole's very confident too, and he basically says like, you lie to us, it hurts our feelings, but you lie to them, it's perjury. Mm-hmm. That's how they do it. And he gives it to Frank Sobotka, and Frank Sobotka gives one of the most legendary monologues, in my opinions, in this entire show.
Snapped.
And he goes through a lot of like almost stages, right? It's first is just like he goes through like anger, um, and like he gets passionate, and he's just you could tell there's like a little bit of fear too, but he's lashing out, and essentially says like our docs our unions are constantly fucked with. Every single president
Yep.
since Kennedy has been anti-union. Talks
Yep.
about Bobby Kennedy and Tricky Dick Nixon and
Nixon.
Ronnie the Union Buster Reagan. And what's interesting here is he mentions both Democratic and Republican presidents.
Yep.
Showing that throughout his times, both parties have been completely unfair to his union.
And you know what? Just because I know we don't talk about politics, but that's like every
it's
president.
important.
Every president has lied in their campaign, Democratic or Republican. They all have lied in their campaign and like promised something that they didn't do when they became president. It's just so that's my thought.
He's just naming the one. He's not looking at it as a political party. He's just naming the ones that affected the union.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there've been some presidents been pro-union recently, but I would say here he taught this is during like the Bush administration. Like for decades, the unions have been being taken down.
And he is scared too, y'all. Like you said, Jack, he is going through a wave of emotions, but he doesn't show fear until he's by himself. Like at the end of episode 4, when he goes in the bathroom, that's him like, okay, fuck, this shit is getting wicked. These people are in our bar. The cops are in our bar. And then when Bump comes and drops the grand jury summons, he doesn't show fear until they leave. But when they walk Johnny 50 out, you see his face like, fuck, man, we into some shit right now, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brad Gordon.
We
interviewed who
he
said
did.
it wasn't he said it wasn't in the script. He just went up and tried to shake his hand, Wendell Pierce's hand, and
it looks so awkward too, but it's so perfect. Like it's so
great. Yeah. A great comic relief there, with the take the fifth commandment, And,
By the time the fans see this breakdown, that interview will be on our channel. It'll be posted by the time they see this. Yeah.
Well, it's also like, it's all about reacting, right? And they have great reacting to each other. And because that moment is improvised, it makes it even better because they just roll with it. And he's angry and offended that they had anything to do with the dead women in the can. And he honestly makes a good point. He's like, what would be the point of
why would we do it?
Why would we kill all these women in a can? Like, it doesn't.
He
make
has a point.
sense.
But so does Beatty.
He's lying too, because he did purposely leave that can, though. Like,
right. And just like Beatty said, why'd you put it back in the stacks? If it was nothing into it, that's the one you lose.
Yeah, they went a little.
That's what heightens his anger too when she says that too.
Yeah, they went a little.
He's pissed.
Like, he used to be a lot more fun too. It shows too.
This might be like a monologue of season 2.
Yeah.
He's clearly the MVP of this season. Like, it's not.
Right.
It's not even.
I think it is kind. I personally think it is kind of close. I like Nick.
Between him and Nikki? Nick. Yeah, no, Nick was active in season 2, bro. He was out there, bro. I love Nick's character in season 2.
I might be the only one who likes Nick more than Frank, but I'll take that.
I think I might like Nick more, but Frank, some of that dialogue, bro, is just it's so legendary. Just like when he gets locked up, when he's talking to Ziggy, when Ziggy's locked up, like he's just every scene with Frank is just. It's so intense, man. I don't know. It is. It's probably closer than I think it is, though. But it's definitely them two. Them two are the MVPs of the season, and then the Greeks too. But it's Nikki and Frank.
No, you have
season 2 legendary.
You have a lot of good points.
Well, you just get the sense he's under so much pressure too, and the way it just erupts from him, right? And you could also tell he doesn't really respect B.D. Russell as a cop. He's saying he used to be more fun. He never thought of her as like an authority figure, just somebody that's there to do the rounds, right? And
I think also Frank has a little crush on BB.
He
Yeah.
does.
That
He does.
lowers his
Who
guard.
doesn't? Everybody in the show
Yeah.
is.
Except McNulty.
And BD also uses that to her advantage, which
Yeah, for sure.
we'll talk about that later on in a very
sure.
smart way. She knows what she's doing. She's very good at it. But yeah, an amazing scene. You know, Frank Sobotka, even at the end, like he's almost surprised at how much he just snapped. Like it just, it just comes out of him, and you could just tell he's tired of constantly being put down by the people in charge, and how, it sucks when you work for make an honest living and you can't depend on the cops at all. Even though they break some laws, it's like, well, everybody does in this city. It's part of how people get by. Crime is inevitable.
Crime in Baltimore, just from the outside looking in, that I've seen, it's no matter what side or what you do, it's just around. It's just, cops dirty, mayor dirty, police chief dirty. Like, it's just, it is what it is kind of thing. Like,
even honest politicians like Carcetti realize later on, like there's only so much you can do in a corrupt system. You can come in with all these great ideas, but the system beats you down,
When we get to season 4, bro, that whole school deficit stuff with he was going to impact the city so tough, and that school deficit just ripped the rug from right up under him. Like, he was like, what do you mean $54 million, man? I just became the mayor, bro. Like, so, yeah.
And also, and this isn't about season 2, but I will say, since this just happened, with Carcetti, I was thinking about his election because, I live in New York. We just elected Mom Donnie as our mayor of New York City. And there's a lot of parallels to his campaign as there is to Carcetti, of this young progressive guy who defeats like a deeply unpopular and corrupt incumbent mayor.
Okay.
So it's very, yeah.
Wow. And 1
yeah,
hour in, we want to say, please like, share, subscribe, comment, Wiretapped Truths. We appreciate it. Keep us going, Jack.
So the scene ends with them essentially taking Johnny 50 in to do a grand jury summons. And as he's leaving, again, great facial acting. Frank goes from a smile to more of a scowl as he's worried about what's happening. It's a pressure cooker,
He's flustered, bro. Right. He don't show the nervousness in front of people, but he's like, damn, these folks are up in essentially my home and here in the Union Hall, like he's flustered, bro.
Oh yeah. And the next scene is one of the least likely encounters of the whole show, because you have Eileen Nathan interviewing Omar, preparing for him to testify for Bird's trial. Jimmy, on the other hand, is like reading a magazine.
Yeah.
And what is the magazine about? I was looking at it before. I think it's about like guns or something. It's just very specific. Oh no, you know what it is? I know. I took this. He's reading a boat magazine. I don't know if you noticed that. I was like, that's such a funny, like a niche. He's reading a magazine with just about boats, and he's constantly has that smirk because everything Omar says is hilarious. And it's
what did he say? A gun from one of them, Australia, one of them A countries.
One of them A countries, right? That's what when she reads back what he said, she's just like, "Are you serious?" And he explains that he didn't actually see him commit the murder, but that Bird showed him the gun beforehand, and Bird brags about it and uses that gun all the time.
By the way, who the hell believes this whole story of Bird just walking up to Omar
and showing him the gun?
He said he's always flashing that thing. He says Eileen Nathan asked him, how are you able to identify it? He wasn't saying that he wasn't there. He was saying, she asked him, how you are able to identify the gun or the make or where it's from. And he was like, oh, he always flashing that thing.
He always flashing that thing.
And then he said, what did he say? A fish got to swim. You know, like she was like, he's committed multiple murders. Like, he's like, bitch, fish gotta swim. Like,
you know what's funny? You know what I was thinking about with The Wire, and I was just talking to somebody yesterday, head makeup artist for The Wire that we're gonna get on soon in December, and she just said it's the best dialogue of all time, and I'm like, yeah, and I was like, and I'm thinking about the scenes we did, and I guess the only thing with The Wire is it's almost too perfect of a dialogue, right? There's like almost a perfect response for every conversation. It's like I think that's the only thing that like doesn't really happen in real life. We don't always have the perfect answer,
Yeah,
right?
but
Everybody always has
realism isn't necessarily always a good thing. Like otherwise, you know what I mean? You want something to
yeah.
not,
No,
you
yeah.
know. But it is like a yeah, I know. Well, some of the time, some of the like yeah, some of the stuff you don't really believe. Like Landsman would never use the term like Tweety impertinence, probably, you know. But it's just
But y'all know what too? At the same time, that's why to me it's the best show ever.
right. I
No,
There's not
yeah.
a wasted line nowhere.
I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm not disagreeing with that. But it just hit me when you said the fish want to swim, and it's just something I've been thinking about recently.
Like
Yeah.
every
It's like the
line is
dialogue is
perfect.
it's almost too perfect to have in a
Yeah.
conversation. Like
Right.
the joking around is perfection. The busting balls is perfection. You know.
Yeah.
The
But
character Omar is based on probably never really talked like that. It's just,
no,
you know, yeah.
no. And
Saying
also
something.
too, the when she says,
I think Jesse
hey,
Perez is going to start talking like that.
when she says, hey,
Definitely.
dress him up. Can you imagine the leverage when I put that sociopath on the stage, on the
Mhm.
stand that Levy's gonna have? That's a foreshadowing moment,
Yeah.
obviously, kind of thing. Like,
And he says at least it'll be different.
So and that was another thing, right? McNulty kind of saw the vision of putting Omar up.
Mhm.
yeah,
I think McNulty saw that he was going to be a good witness. Eileen
yeah,
Nathan
Yeah.
didn't see it. I think McNulty was like, I
it'll be
think this
different.
might I think this might work.
Well, Omar is also just very genuine with
Forthcoming.
Charismatic.
who he is. He's very forthcoming. So he's like, he's what's what they call like chaotic neutral. So like it did work. Whereas like Levy so obviously sleazy that it's one of the most ironic things is they look at this guy and they view Levy as being worse than Omar, even though
Mhm.
Omar is a murderer. But at least he has like a code, whereas Levy just steals from everyone. But we'll get to that scene when we talk about it. In the meantime, even though they've Bunk and Russell have brought in all these dock workers to a grand jury summons. They are tight knit,
One
so
of
to
the
say.
greatest lines. We almost got one of them to admit that they work by the water or something.
Right? Yeah, they do not budge these people, because they're used to it too. That's the thing about unions, they're very close together. There's a loyalty there, and
I
they're
was
not
gonna
about.
say the loyalty with the union is almost stronger than the loyalty with the gangs.
Oh, 100 times more. They don't
Oh, for
they
sure.
don't rat each other out at all. They don't, they're
Yeah, no, for sure, bro. Come on now. Every time somebody didn't have hours, they go to Frank. I don't know how much money the lady at the bar was giving them. I don't know if that was a couple thousand. I don't know what that money was, but yeah, nah, man, it was complete loyalty in terms
Mhm.
of the connection with the union versus the street life. It's not even close.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so as a result of them not saying anything, they've again hit the wall. Bunk suggests having talking to an informant, and it's revealed to Bunk that Beatty doesn't have an informant, and Bunk says very condescendingly of, well, police is only as good as their informant. So this is implying that they're not police. She's
I'm
not a
telling you
police officer.
guys, Bunk didn't like Beatty, bro. I'm telling you guys.
Yeah, and so, but it puts the idea of BD's head of, who do I know that can help me from there, from the docks, right? In the meantime, we also have Herc going on these, trying to buy drugs and finding out where these people go. So he goes to Frog. Uh,
And
Herc
I like
goes to
before
Frog.
when they like, where is he at?
Hmm.
That little phone
Yeah,
dialogue with Herc and Carver. I like that. He's like, yo,
he's like, "Yo,
dickhead, where you at?
dickhead, where are you at?"
Where you be at?
Just noshing on a sandwich. Um,
Carver be eating too, Jack.
yeah.
And he got a lot of scenes where he is a face stuffing. Like
Well, I imagine they're on that rooftop for hours, probably. Like
eight,
even
10, 12, 14 hours sometimes.
right. Yeah, like there's that scene in the previous season with him and Cinder in the car, and Cinder's like got like cheese doodles and ring dings and all this
He got
just
every type of
junk
snack.
food. Yeah. Yeah, just noshing away. And also, this scene is really funny because it shows like how dumb these drug dealers are. Because Herc looks so like obviously an undercover cop that any idiot would be able to tell. But Frog's just such a fucking dunderhead, that he's like, yeah, sure, man, like I can
I'm
help you
hollering
out.
my folks around back.
Dressed like Vanilla Ice over here.
Herc is hilarious, man. He's hilarious. He's
Yeah.
hilarious. It's all in the props, baby.
And they're also so much worse than like the terrorist boys because everything's done all out in the open. Nobody
Yep.
has to go around back. It's like no, they get the money and they like it all happens right there for the taking, And we also get more of that like snapshot cinematography that The Wire is so good at with constantly getting those freeze frames in there. Herc is hilarious though. He's wearing like this ginormous coat and has a toothpick in his mouth. Like it's all in the props, as he says.
I would know automatically.
Mhm.
I'd be like, come on, bro. Like,
And
come on, bro.
Do you guys think that was a shout out to Bob Spore? It's all in the props.
It's all in the props. That's true.
Maybe.
Shout out Bob Spore.
Shout out to Bob Spore. Another interview that we are gonna give you all imminently. It'll be out before they see this, So shit.
Did you guys catch this next thing? How this guy is putting up this sign for the Department of Homeland Security on the wall as he walks into there? This is 2003, so that was when the DHS was established as a governmental organization. Condoleezza Rice being the first, chair, head of Homeland Security. That was when the government started focusing more on terrorism.
So this is the post 9/11 protocol stuff.
Yeah, that's when the Department of Homeland Security was established as a result of that.
Damn, that's a hell of a historic nugget right there. That's Jack and Jesse stuff right there. Had you never said that, bro, would have never even.
See, that's why we gotta increase the Zoomer demographic because I gotta teach the young kids about post 9/11 U.S. history. McNulty drove all the way to I think Trenton, they said, or Newark.
Where was he at, Jesse?
I think it's Newark.
Where did McNulty go, bro?
Newark, New Jersey.
Newark?
Is it Jersey?
Yeah. Yeah, they mentioned New Jersey. I'm just trying to remember what city. I think it is Newark. So that's at least a few hour drive from Baltimore, trying to find any information on how to contact these women, how to identify them, contact their next of kin, rather.
So the Homeland Security office where Buddy is at, that's in New Jersey, or is that?
Yeah, that's in New Jersey. He drove all the way up there, trying to find them.
But then I thought he asked McNulty, "You'll drive down there on a Humble or something?"
Oh wait, no, sorry, this isn't in New Jersey. No. When he goes later on, then he goes to.
That's in New Jersey.
Yeah. That's
where is that office at that he goes?
When he goes later on, that's we see an establishment shot. I believe that's ICE. They see that,
Okay.
That was before ICE was turned into a fascist organization. But anyway, so yeah, we see him over here. He has a real personal connection to this. He's a caring guy, and he genuinely, feels for these women who are victimized in this most depraved ways imaginable, right? Nikki Sobotka, meanwhile, goes over to the Greeks and discusses what's been happening, that they've been shaken up, that all these people have faced grand jury summons. And if you notice, Nikki's really protecting Horseface and his uncle, because
Nikki's protection for Horseface is unmatched.
Oh yeah, well, because Spiros inquires about them. He says say anything.
And Nikki said no, he's good.
Yeah.
He said Horseface
is a rock.
And that Nikki, they're asking that because in their heads they're deciding whether or not they have to kill some people.
Oh yeah, and Nikki knows. That's why Nikki's Nikki lets it be known, Horseface is no.
Nikki's it's interesting that Nikki wants to stay.
What's that? No, I think Horseface is like an uncle to Nick.
Right. Oh yeah, and it's interesting that Nikki constantly wants to stay away from like the illegal side of activities, and Ziggy, on the other hand, wants to partake in that because Nikki is actually very street smart in a way that Ziggy is not. Nikki has great instincts for how much to talk and who to talk to and who to do business with. He's like straight as an arrow here, right? And so he lets the Greeks know that like nobody said anything and that but his uncle is afraid and he wants to meet with the Greek
Yeah. And
and
I love when they call him Nico too. Like I
Nico,
love that. I
right?
love that, man.
Nikki said
They
that.
love him.
Yeah, a great line too. I always like is Sergey says like another dead end because they're describing
Yep.
the guy whose throat they slashed in episode
He's
2.
he's out of there.
Yeah. And again, I know we've already talked about it. It is like I love that like we know what happened to the guy. Like it's like again like another show that would have been at the end, but this is just the
Mm-hmm.
aftermath of the big reveal, right? Um so Spiro says like no, he doesn't need to speak to the Greek. Anything he says talks to me. Like anything he wants to say to the Greek and you talk to me. And then Spiros is like no, he doesn't talk to me. Um But also, he mentions that there could be a shipment of containers coming in there of chemicals. And Nikki's like, why the fuck do you want all these chemicals, right? He's thinking like terrorism, right? Um, Back to the DHS, they're looking through all these women. They can't find anyone that'll like speak to them. But he suggests like going up to New Jersey and Newark to find somebody that can help them. And he even asks, he's like, "You're gonna go there on your own free time?" He says, "Yeah, fuck it, I'll take a day."
Man, Nolte's desperate,
Yeah.
man. He want to be bad. He hasn't disclosed it yet, like that he's just going crazy, but his actions are showing it. Him spending time going up to the offices, like chasing after this girl. Like he's desperate to be doing something police related. Like,
Well, I mean, also he genuinely cares about these people too. It's sad because he talks about he's like, you ever see what happens to these people, and
yeah,
it's very bleak. And the show does a good job of explaining just how like uh depraved the lives of these women are. They're like victimized constantly, right? Um, And then we also it's also revealed that BD used to date Mao, the
mm-hmm.
guy that was like that has that feud with Ziggy.
Yep,
She goes to his house looking very pretty and charming. Mao is very happy to see this
he
girl
is.
that clearly dumped him in the past.
Yep,
He invites her in for
some
some kind
drinks.
of drinks,
He
like
said he got some Bacardi.
some anything alcoholic, right? But she's like, why don't we go get coffee? And he's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Also, too, I'm just looking at in that scene. Mao is tall as fuck. He about as tall as
Yeah.
the door is. I'm like, God,
Yeah.
damn, he big as shit. Pause. But he tall as hell. Like,
I like how he's trying to impress her too. But he's like, I'm in the tower now, like working. He's trying to hype himself up. He's like, yeah, things have been going well for me. Um, and he when it's revealed that she wants to get coffee, you could tell he's like, oh, okay, this isn't like this isn't what I was hoping for. He
yeah,
knows that she's not there to like reconcile. She's there to try to get some information from him. Um, We also find Donette talking to Stringer, and much like D'Angelo, it's clear that Stringer's not really listening to Donette. No one ever listens to her. They're just like let her talk, and Stringer's mind's a million miles away. Again, Donette's just complaining, um, and the way that she says like he doesn't need to know all about it all, right?
yeah.
It's like, oh, you fucking asshole. You're just cheating. you know.
And another thing too, this is when Stringer decided he's gonna kill D'Angelo. So like, and Jesse and I talked about it on the random episode that we shot on Saturday. This scene is so fucking cold. Like
Mhm.
he's literally talking to the kid as to pretty much telling the kid,
Yeah.
like, hey, your daddy, he bucking us, man. I might have to, looks like I'm gonna
Might
have
have
to
to
kill
do
you first.
something.
have to kill your daddy. You know, like I mean, it's such a cold, chilling scene. Like I mean,
that's why I was like, people like Marlowe's the devil himself, right? I don't know if Stringer's that far from it.
No, Stringer's fucking evil, man.
The thing is though, bro, the difference in the groups. Even though I can't even make that point, because I was about to say, well, the Barksdale organization didn't kill any women; they killed a security guard. They killed the lady. They didn't kill no older. I mean, she's still a security guard. She's still a lady. Yeah, I don't think either one was more.
I mean, they killed a child too. They killed Wallace, who's a fucking 14-year-old. You know, they're awful, man. They're not.
Hold up, Jack. I think you gave me something. I think we have to do which one was more ruthless. That might be a good random episode, because now we said talking about it out loud. I can't make the case for the Stanfield organization being more ruthless than the Barksdale organization, because they killed a kid.
We like the Barksdale organization more.
Right. And we talked about that in season 1. You know, we let the shit with WeBase slide. You know, like
the Stanfield organization might have been a little more ruthless on the no rules. Like, they just went for it. They killed the civilian just to frame Omar. I don't think. I think Barksdale did it.
She was a witness. I guess if you want to, I guess it's levels to it. I guess you want to. They paid her off. She was paid off.
There's a little more, but I do think it's a paper thin line.
Damn, that's. I don't know. Y'all got me thinking now. I don't know. That's
you pick somebody's baby up and tell them you're going to kill their father. That's fucking ruthless, bro.
Well, and Jesse, we talked about it over the weekend on the episode. Jack hates Stringer. Okay, like Jack is not a Stringer fan whatsoever.
Well, I mean, he is a murderer.
Yeah,
I don't think it's unreasonable to not be a fan of Stringer.
But the thing is, so many people like him. So many people love him. Like,
I think there's a certain amount of people that do. You're right. Like, prefer Stringer to Avon. I'm an Avon guy.
But that's weird to me to like. It's like when I remember with the discourse around Breaking Bad. It's like, I don't know if it's like is the right. Like, you're entertained by these characters, but nobody really likes Walter White. You know what I mean?
But the thing is, though, Jack,
I think people were pissed when Stringer died in real time.
Oh, for sure.
But that's odd, because when you look at the morality of it, of who they are, and it shows how good of writing and the characterization is, because it's if it causes you to like somebody that is a bad person, it's really doing its job. I mean, nobody really likes what they do. They like them as a character. You know what I mean? It's you can like Stringer. It makes sense, and now it makes sense. You like him as a character. You don't like what they do or anything. It's like you like Tony Soprano.
Right, in reference to Breaking Bad and characters like Tony Soprano, you might not like some of the stuff they do, but we still root for them.
Right. Yes, that's a better term. Right. You don't like them, you root for them.
The difference, because I mean, looking at season 4, even though when I rewatch season 4 and season 5, I mean, I love both of them. I love every episode of The Wire, obviously, but season 4 and season 5 with Marlo, I absolutely love it. I'm not rooting against him necessarily, but I don't think I'm necessarily rooting for him, kind of thing. If that makes any sense. And same with Walter White. We were rooting for Walter White, kind of thing.
Right.
We were, kind of thing, And it seems like, I don't know, y'all, the signs are there. Seems like every episode, Walter White is brought up in our podcast. That might be the sign whenever we wrap up, Wiretapped Truths. Maybe it is jumping into Breaking Bad. I don't know. Just saying, just something I've noticed, our last couple episodes, Walter White, he comes up. He comes up in every episode, it seems like.
Something to put on the back burner.
Yeah.
But Nikki Sobotka also is Nikki Sobotka and what's fucking Jesse knows the name of the other character that he goes with. I
don't know his name either.
No, come on. It's
his name.
It's Ott. Nikki Yes, Nikki and Ott go over to
No, it wasn't
Cheese.
Odd. It was Nate, right?
Yeah,
Isn't it Nate?
Nate.
Isn't
Okay.
it
Nate, yeah.
Sorry.
Nate.
That's Nate. Nikki and Nate
Yeah,
go
call
over
it Nate.
to Cheese. Uh the way this scene is shot is great too, because a lot of
No,
handheld camera work too, and the lighting is awesome. It's all at night, but you have all the street lights, which makes it into like this yellowish kind of tinge, which is interesting, And they
Nick,
go,
you're in the hood at night.
they that shows how like good of a friend, cousin, brother Nikki is to Ziggy, because he's putting his life on the line going over here to these guys that are clear antagonists who
And
clearly
expect
don't have a
fucking Ziggy
penchant for
Sobotka.
violence, who wouldn't hesitate to shoot you at all.
Jack,
Yeah.
when he pulled up, Cheese's boy lifted his shirt and was like, "Bro,
Right.
what do you got beef or what? What are you even? What's up here?" Like,
They wouldn't give it a second thought, but
what?
she's, Cheese hears Nikki out and decides, I'll give him another week to pay what's back, but
Yep.
he can't sell the car. Nikki has the idea of using the car as collateral
Yep.
and to sell it for more money. But we get that nice little tracking, that little shot, like point of view
Why would they?
shot to see the cars on complete fire.
Why would they burn a perfectly good Camaro, which is so dumb?
Because I'm a
They don't give a
multi-millionaire
shit.
drug dealer. What do I
They
need
don't
with
give-
this with a piece of shit Camaro?
Yeah, they don't give a fuck. They don't respect classic
Yeah.
automobiles.
You know,
That is a nice car, but yeah,
No,
they
but
don't
you
need
can
it,
use it for transportation too.
I mean, I'm a millionaire drug dealer. Prop Joe's my uncle. Another thing too with the car burning down, you see the Ziggy license plate burning down. It's symbolic of everything burning around Ziggy. Kind
Well,
of
it's
thing.
also I was going to mention the symbolism of the car burning itself. It shows like it's a classic American car, right? This car was like, made like with real steel and everything, and shows like that's what's happening to the country, is like just like how the ports used to be a profitable source of industry. Like they can't make any good cars anymore. They can't do shit, and everything's just burning around them. And they can burn this car out in public, and nobody does a fucking thing. There's no police presence. People are going, smashing bottles and shooting people. It's fucking anarchy. Yeah, no. So basically, they're fucked. And then I'll talk about this now, since we go over there later on. We see Nikki going back to Ziggy, and he has that funny one. He's like, "Good news and bad news. Good news is they
They
give
ain't gonna
you.
kill you.
They're not gonna. Bad news is they're gonna give you another week to. They're gonna kill you, but they'll give you another week. And good news is you cancel your car insurance." um. Also, Beatty's going out to coffee with Mao,
Yep.
and
He gave her the jewel though.
It's
He
clear
gave her
that
what she wanted.
Yeah, it's clear that he still has feelings for her and
For sure.
wants to get back with her, and he's wondering why it never worked out, and she's kind of gives a very vague answer. Sometimes things just don't work out, and clearly evading the question, but also,
No, she's like, who knows?
clearly this doesn't want to talk about it, but she,
Everybody likes Beatty. Everybody,
yeah,
every
and she
male.
uses that charm to be
Yeah.
able to get what she wants out
They
of
found the
Mao.
They found the loose lips in the group too.
Yeah. Well, Mao, is actually very sly about how he reveals he's like, everything you want is just in front of the taking. Now it's not written on paper, everything is stored digitally. So that's when BD gets the idea of going to the computers. So even though Bunk says she's not much of a police officer, that was pretty slick what she did. Good old BD Russell. Um, And also, the Carver Greggs are building a case with the help of the newly acting Herc, who's loving his job, pretending to be a drug customer. They're going across the rooftops, very reminiscent of season 1. Like Carver's like, I'm gonna fucking stab him in the eye with that toothpick. Um, Spiros Bondis is talking to the Greek. He's explaining that Frank Sabak is afraid, but he assures them that they're not going to talk, right? And then the Greek says like double his fee, but like
Ease my mind first.
right, ease my mind. And he says like they're not going to talk. He says Frank Sobotka is worried. He says double his fee, but there's no reason that they need to meet with each other.
And you know what, too, Jack and Jesse? When I was trying to find that note on Saturday about why the Greeks were so powerful, it wasn't about triple the fee. It was we checked the courthouse. That's what made me think, oh shit. He said we checked the court, we checked with our people at the courthouse.
Yeah.
Who? How? What the fuck? Like
they got people on the inside, you know.
What?
They got an FBI agent.
Right. I mean, we know that as an audience, but the note that I took that I was trying to remember when we were talking on Saturday, that's what it was. It was about when he said, "Yeah, we checked down at the courthouse." Like, what the fuck? How you even?
Yeah.
What? You know?
Right. Yeah. No, they have. They're pretty well connected. You know.
They checked with Chris Parlow, who was a court officer.
Yeah.
Sure.
Only two Wire fans know that, man. If you know, you know. Yes, Chris Parlow was an extra in season 1.
That's right. Oh yeah. Now talk about like really cold scenes with Stringer visiting Avon. First, they discuss how they have like they're struggling to maintain control of the towers because they have such a shitty product. He can even see customers like going to the other side of town to fucking buy another product.
Hold that thought, Jack. Saying that on the jail phone is crazy. He said you can watch the fiends go from east to the west. That's crazy talk over the jail phone.
But I you know, the thing is, I know we've said that before, but I feel like the people listening don't really give a shit what's it. Like they know that like the reason. I mean, dude, like this guy, this is his partner. They know that they're not there to discuss like the Baltimore Ravens. They know that they know that they're discussing it. They just don't give a shit at this point because they're not.
True enough. I mean,
they're not like real cops.
Stringer's careful phone etiquette, like you know what I'm saying. Like you would think, you know, but you know,
yeah.
I don't know.
I think with this one, it's like, yeah, the nobody like listens into these conversations. It's just there to be recorded. But like,
it's a little inconsistent though.
Yeah, for sure. But like in terms of like
it's
people
inconsistent with Stringer's character. Not even the fact that they don't get caught doing it. It's
just the character aspect of it.
Stringer's always like not on the phone, never on the phone, never this, and now he's like, "Yo, they're leaving."
Right? Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
But Jack, we feel what you're saying too. You're probably 100% right. This is Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean they know, like I said, like this guy, this is his partner going to talk to him, you know.
You know, I don't care about that.
And they also talk about D'Angelo, and he says like, I made a plan to give something, you know, give him a bar or a club to work out, like have some real estate put in D'Angelo's. And then this is what pissed me off about Avon, because he's like, I've been fair to him, you know. Like, and then they say like too fair. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You haven't been fair.
And that little part is the thought in Stringer's mind where it's like, okay, yeah, I can probably make this boss move and take D'Angelo out. Avon is kind of already I don't want to say distancing himself from it, but he's kind of like, you know, I've given him all the opportunities. I've been fair to him, you know, like he'd be all right if I kill his nephew, you know. Right.
Well, it's the arrogance and the narcissism to think like he's been really fair to him, when in reality it's the opposite. D'Angelo has been very fair to Avon. I mean, D'Angelo had to sacrifice himself for Avon, you know. They haven't been fair to him at all. They've been the exact opposite. They fucking completely screwed him over. So
also,
it's just
not voluntarily though. I mean, his mom had to go and beg him to do it.
Right. Yeah, and it's like, so it shows like they don't really, you know, their ego supersedes any goodwill that they have to give towards D'Angelo, you know. We also see like Frank meeting with Spiros and thinking he's going to meet with the Greek. Says fuck you and fuck him. Tells him what's going to happen with that he's doubling the fee, and that's when the line comes about how they used to build steel down there, and showing him what it once was, you know, and now it's like now they can't rely on that. They don't build steel anymore. They have to fight for scraps, Most of those jobs have been like outsourced to other countries, and it's true, It's like when you go to a city that's mainly like whenever I go to upstate New York, like a city like Utica or Syracuse, you're like, man, this used to be something, They used to have like industry, and now everything's fucking gone.
Yeah.
And this just shows like the lives of the workers that have to deal with the fallout.
They don't
And
they don't come to an agreement here neither. By the way,
right, yeah,
No.
he
Yeah.
says like, I'm not going to work for you,
because I thought I missed something when like Spiro still gives the okay. No,
Mhm.
they leave on Frank saying no. So
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. And we
Right.
see that when it comes at the end. Yep. Yep.
Great shot too at the end there where he's just looking over the water, That's like there's a lot of shots like that of him looking out over the pier,
Is that the Chesapeake Bay again, Jesse?
that's the Chesapeake Bay. Jack, we were wrong about the sound. We said this, the
Okay.
Miss Donna texted me Chesapeake Bay.
Chesapeake. All right, thank you.
Again, shout
Thank
out
you,
to Miss
Miss
Donna.
Donna.
Always.
Uh
Always. Always.
but you notice that there's a lot of shots like that of him like looking out, It shows this is him, his ambition. He wants his union to improve, right? And so he's
Mhm.
struggling with that, with like sacrificing his morals. Like, do I want to do business with these pieces of shit, or should I just be like a straight up guy that doesn't have these kind of connections, right? Um, Meanwhile, Nikki and Ziggy are looking for information on how to find on what they're using to find these chemicals.
Love that scene. That's so
Uh,
funny.
When he
How it's
spells out
worded.
Fuck,
Yeah.
and
Spell
they,
promagnate.
yeah, and it's funny too because like this is like when computers started to be mainly part, like 2003 people had computers but not in the same way everyone did, so not a lot, like it wasn't as commonplace, so people had to go to the library to use the computers a lot of times, and like Nikki is just like amazed by Google here. He's like, you just type something in and it tells you. They find that they're using it for cocaine, right?
Mhm.
um
He's like Jay and Silent Bob. What the fuck is the internet? I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, it's true. um Beatty and Bunk are also going now to follow up. Oh, hey, let's look through the computers, right? And Frank Sobotka shows up to show them how the system works, and
Mhm.
explains that a lot of times there are glitches, especially when you're dealing with the amount of cargo they're dealing with. Sometimes like human error, or that
Sometimes the Emperor's fingers are just too fat.
too
Looking at
fat.
straight at
Yeah,
them.
He looked straight at Bunk.
I like that little, like, yeah, it's a little slight dig he gave to
Oh
him,
Like, could
yeah,
it be you?
he
Could it
was
be
being
you?
and he just
a
said,
smart ass with that,
"Oh
no
yeah,
doubt about
absolutely."
it.
Said no offense, but it's true. It's like if you in the middle of February wearing those gloves, I could see that happening. Um, or radio signals get knocked down because of the high tides. Human error happens, right? And he's trying to explain that to Bunk and Russell about like, hey, sometimes it wasn't nefarious why we lost that stack in the cans. They clearly don't buy it, right? When they're walking away, he says like they're fucking with us. They're trying to get us to go away. Um, but so yeah, the investigation is sort of heating up, and yeah, so McNulty drove all the way up to Newark, which is like at least a couple hours, to find information about any of these people, and we see him going into like this crowded uh, jail cell with like all these women sprawled out, and they throw Polaroid photos on them, and they just all kind of huddle around. And one of them asks if they provide information, if like that'll help them reduce, if they can go free. And since they can't offer that, they don't give them any information. And yeah, it shows how like dedicated he is to the job, because they asked him, it was like, "Or do you need a restaurant here, or just gonna go home?" And I think it's implied like he just drives all the way up there and drives all the way back in a single night. Um, but yeah, so everybody's kind of hit a dead end at this point in the investigation as to what they're gonna find, and in a way, they're struggling, and the Barksdale organization is also struggling. And one of the funniest scenes, which is constantly happens throughout here, is Stringer becomes Professor Stringer Bell, and they all like he even the way he talks, he's like when he points them, he's like, all right, follow through on that, They all raise their hand like he
He's
provides
like,
scenarios.
have y'all ever heard of WorldCom?
Right,
Man,
yeah.
fuck no.
It's just like you just learned about that last week and now you're just trying
And
to
then Bodhi takes Shamrock's answer just to be the teacher's pet.
I
Yep.
love that, yeah. And Shamrock's like, did this already just say? He's just like, what the fuck? He has the scenario of like, how about have two towers with like different that are competing against each other, so that one of them starts to get low, they go to the other tower, and sets up this competition, which is actually really good ideas, to be honest. And he gets them thinking. Like, and Stringer even talks to him a little bit first. He's like, oh, now we got a thinking man over here. So they get the idea to change the name of the product. Nikki also finds out. He confronts Spiros and Sergey about what they're using these drugs for. And he says like you're using it for cocaine, and Spiros like acknowledges it without verbally saying. So he's very sly in the way he's saying that. He also tells them that there's all this money in it for them.
And he tells him it's 3 times the fee now.
3 times the fee, So yeah, Nikki's very reluctant to get into anything criminal, but he needs the money. They're not only for his cousin, but also for himself and his family, right?
Yep.
And the last 2 scenes we have Lester and Bunk going to Daniels and suggesting that they tie up these cases together, right? Because they think that these murders are attached to the dock workers. And it's funny how Daniels goes right back to being the ladder climber as soon as he gets out of that. Because he's like, no, I don't want to I just want to provide a nice, clean case so that Burrell,
Get him out of here.
I can get the fuck out of here. And he's like, seriously, dude, I thought you changed. That you kind of get that vibe from Freeman. But he says, all right, you guys can set up here,
Yep. He said the bosses wouldn't blame you for that. He was like, I wouldn't shine either. Shit. Fuck you mean?
So we really do get the whole crew back together, except for one who will come back in the later episodes, right? Now, the last the last scene of the episode is we see that there's a great day in the docks. They have all this work coming in.
Yep.
Nikki goes over to Frank with a case number for all those chemicals, and Frank says like, "Fuck this guy, I'm done with him." Spiros lied to Nikki, implying that Frank's okay with all this business, and Nikki makes a point of like, "Look, we're okay today, but like, we need this."
The writing's on the wall.
The writing's on the wall.
He tells him triple the fee too.
Right, and he says, "Fuck the wall. I'm not dealing with this," and he's walking away, and it's very ominous, and you even get the sense that like something bad's going to happen to him because he's making the conscious decision to walk away from the Greeks at the end of this episode. And it's like the camera pulls away, and we see everyone in the docks working, and Frank walking in between these containers by himself. And that's how the episode ends.
Yeah,
great episode.
Good cliffhanger too, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's always like when we watch this and we break some of this stuff down, and the cliffhanger doesn't end in like violence, but it's still so impactful. It's like, well, damn, what's gonna happen on this next episode? Like,
right.
It's I don't know, best show ever, man. I don't even know what discussion is.
This is a perfect episode for me. I mean, I think season 1 has a few of them, but this is I think my first one in season 2 where I watched and I said, "Wow, that's a perfect episode."
That's
Next episode is probably my favorite episode in the whole series.
And I'm thinking too, I'm always getting these ideas in my head, y'all, for our random episodes. I think that's where some of the most it lets our creative juices kind of flow, like a best episode series or like a best episode random episode. That might be something we could look into too. Just thinking about it. Well, great job, Jack. Appreciate you so much, boss. Thank you so much. Jesse, you want to do your top actors from this episode before I close this out?
So, I mean, off of the monologue alone has to be Chris Bauer again, right? Because that scene just blows me away.
Chris Bauer.
Frank Spocker.
Yep. No, I know. I'm just saying Chris Bauer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And but I'm gonna give a number 2 here because I have to shout him out. He's did an interview with us. I think Jeffrey Pratt Gordon deserves a little recognition here for that for the Johnny 50.
Yeah.
The comedic relief through that whole scene. But that scene is one of my favorite scenes of the whole show.
Yeah, I love it. He went when Bunk is like, Johnny 50, what the fuck is that?
What the fuck's that? Or you know what? This is just as equally as a. So I'll give 3. Wendell Pierce deserves this episode also. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good stuff there, man. Well, thank y'all both. Definitely appreciate it. Again, this has been Wiretapped Truths. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. We have a lot of content that we are going to push out to finish this year.
Who would you guys give favorite episode to? I mean, favorite actor.
I told y'all, for me, season 2 is all about Frank Sobotka, bro. Like it's like that's. I don't know. He's just him and Nikki are the clear MVPs of this season. And it's not close, man. Like
I would also say for me, one of the standout performances was Idris Elba. He's so menacing, even though he doesn't say that much. You really feel this power and this like brooding sense of like he's about to do some bad shit.
Yeah, it was chilling. It was a very chilling scene, and him in the class was legendary.
Yeah,
you know, that's like
Idris Elba, Amy Ryan, Chris Bauer. What show were they all on? They were on The Office. So there you go. They're all three.
Facts.
All 3 of those actors were on The Office.
Respect, man. Good stuff, man. Well, again, please like, share, subscribe, comment, Wiretapped Truths. We're gonna finish this year out with so much content for you all. We will announce our next shift and what we're gonna do on our next recap episode. So you all just stay tuned for what we're doing, how we're going to finish the year, and what we're going to bring to you. Again, I thank my team. This has been Wiretapped Truths. Again, please like, share, subscribe, comment, and we'll see y'all next week.
See you next week. I'm going to get some lo mein. Peace.